a very special day. Today is the iPhone's 10th anniversary. This makes me really excited. First because obviously you know that I'm an Apple fan, but also because I love the iPhone and I love Apple and I just want to celebrate with them. And second because this is a big thing. The iPhone really was like a stepping point for us as we entered into the smartphone and like the new generation of technology. It was a really big step for that. It was one of the biggest things that really came out in our recent history. And to celebrate this momentous occasion, I wanted to tell you two things. First of all, why I love Apple, because let's face it, I love Apple. And second of all, I wanted to tell you my iPhone story. So let's start with why I love Apple. To me, it's pretty obvious. Apple is a wonderful company, down to the amazing products they make, to their great customer service, and for the quality of the product, and the investment that your money is making in them. Honestly, to me, buying Apple products truly is an investment for me. Just like buying a home or a car, for me it is an investment because it's something that not only makes my life easier, but it allows me to actually have a career. I don't think I would have ever been doing what I'm doing now in my life, which is video editing, if it weren't for Apple. I know you can edit videos on a PC, but I don't think that I would have done that or gone down that route in my life if I didn't have Apple in my life, because to me, using Apple products was something that I loved to do, but not only that, it was easy enough for me. It was something that I could do well and I could understand. And so for me, it is truly an investment to have Apple products, and I love them. The quality of the products is amazing. Honestly, because I maintain my products well, I keep them clean, I keep them updated, I make sure that if they have a small issue that I take care of it right away. Because I maintain my products, just like maintaining your car, maintaining your home, because I do that, I find that the products last for a very long time. They do the job they're supposed to do, and I rarely have issues with them. So because of that, I find them to be a good investment. Whatever money I put into them, they kind of give back to me tenfold, and so I really love Apple for that reason. I just wanted to do a little bit of a disclaimer. I don't have anything against non-Apple products. I think there's a lot of products I use that aren't Apple products. I use my monitors and TVs and DVD players, and there are a lot of other products in my home that are not Apple products. I have nothing against PC products, but for me, I won't use them for my own personal use because they're not something that can get the work done that I need to get done. They're not something that I understand, and they're not something that I find to be as good of an investment. So that's really why I love Apple products. I love also Apple products are gorgeous. I find them to be beautiful designs. I find them to be very clean. Not only that, but extremely like customer oriented. Apple takes the time to understand what people need, not just what they want. A lot of times we think we need, like we want something, so why doesn't Apple provide it for us? But Apple, when they create a product, they truly think about what their customers need. They need something that works well. They need something that's going to continue to work. They need something that's not going to slow down their lives. They need something that is going to be easy to use. All of those things, they put those kinds of things at the top of the list. And they also want to make something that works. They want something that they don't have to recall, that they don't have to take back, that they don't have to, you know, but that when it's in someone's hands, it's ready to use and it works the way it's supposed to work. So if they, you know, maybe they don't come out with the newest, most amazing idea because they want to do it the right way, they want to take that idea and do it the right way so that their customers are using the best version of that idea. And I think that to me is great customer service, right? Because they've already thought of me before I even walked through the door. And that I really appreciate that about their products. But they're just beautiful design. They're gorgeous. They're seamless. And it doesn't matter what I'm wearing or where I'm going or what environment I'm in, my Apple products, they fit into that environment. And so I really love that, and they're constantly improving. So every year they want to constantly improve what they have. They may throw it out the window because they realize that they can make something better, or they may take what they already have and just improve it to the max. And so I appreciate Apple and I love them because of all of those things, because they are a quality product, they are an investment, they are a beautiful design, and they think about their customers. Second of all, I wanted to tell you my iPhone story. And for me, I've been a part of the iPhone since it existed. Obviously, I've been alive, I've been in the world since the iPhone existed, because it's only 10 years old and I'm not 10 years old. But not just that, I've been a part of the iPhone community, you could say, since it started. I did not own the iPhone when it first came out, but I did own an iPhone, the first iPhone. My boss, a friend of mine, owned the iPhone, and I worked for him almost every day of my life. I was around him all the time. He's a friend of mine. And so I sort of lived vicariously through him. When he got the iPhone, I was excited that he got the iPhone. I wanted to know everything that was on it. He would tell me anything that was new about it. Anytime there was a new Apple product or a new thing, he would tell me about it. And the iPhone was included in that. He had that phone, and it was like before there was an app store, before there were apps on the phone, like he owned the phone. And all it did was make calls and have a screen and text message and those kinds of things, but I looked at it and just was so amazed by it. And then probably about a year to 2 years later, I actually owned that iPhone, the first iPhone. Not just the first iPhone, but his first iPhone. I believe he sold it to me for about $50, and it was mine. I had that first iPhone, and I had that iPhone for a long time. I kept it updated, I kept it clean. It was like meticulous. When he gave it to me, it was meticulous, and I kept it meticulous. I kept the box. I made sure that it was like beautiful. I think I maybe dropped it like 1 or 2 times, so it had slight dents in the metal outing, but like I tried extremely hard to keep it very clean and meticulous. It was a very nice phone, all the way through to when the App Store developed and you could actually update the phone and have apps on that phone. I had that phone, and I had it until the iPhone 3, not until the iPhone 3 was available, but until the iPhone 3 was available free with the contract. And then finally the iPhone 3 came out and you could get that phone for free plus tax, with a 2-year contract. So I got the iPhone 3. So I never had the 2. I think there was, yeah, obviously it was 2. I never had the iPhone 2. I never had owned that phone. I owned the 1 and then I owned the 3. I had the 3 and I liked that phone, but it wasn't my favorite. I really didn't like the plastic backing very much. I didn't like the shape of it, or like really the feel in my hands of that phone. I think it was still a well-designed phone. It was a beautiful phone, but it wasn't my favorite out of all of the phones. But at the time, my first iPhone, it could no longer update to the newest versions, and so it ran fairly slowly. It still worked all the way up until I sold that phone to someone else at a yard sale. That phone worked. It probably still worked for that person. You could make phone calls on it, you could text on it, you could play games on it. They were slow, but you could do it. You could play music on it. It still worked and functioned. It's still like charged quickly and everything. It was a great phone. It was like a brick. It was beautiful. But it was a fairly slow phone, and you couldn't update it anymore, and I wanted to be able to like update, and I was able to get a new phone for free, so I just decided I'm gonna get the new 3. So I got the 3, and that phone, I was excited to get it because it was new and it was faster, and it was able to, you know, take the apps and do all those things, but the design of it wasn't my favorite design. So I got that phone, but I owned that phone, that 3, for about 2 years. So my math is like off, 2 or 3 years, and then I got the 4. Getting the 4 for me was a huge deal. Now, it was same, I got it for free with a 2-year contract, but it was such a big deal for me to get that phone because I thought it was the most beautiful phone I'd ever seen. Like, I own the 1, I own the 3, I got the 4, and I was like, this is the most beautiful design they've ever made. It's so gorgeous. I loved it so much. I love just the way, the compactness of it, the clean lines. I loved that phone. I thought it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, and I was so excited to get it because my 3 was running fairly slowly, still worked. So I got the 4, and I just thought it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Like, I loved it so much. And I own the 4. So I probably owned the 4 for about 4 years, I think. I had it for about a year, I believe, and I kept that thing it was so nice. I almost never dropped it. It was perfectly clean again. It worked beautifully. Always kept it updated. It regularly would restore it to make sure that it had enough space. Just all of those things. I loved that phone. And about a year into owning the 4, I moved from an apartment to a house, and I was in the car ready to go unpack from my apartment, or like grab boxes or whatever from my apartment, had it in my lap, stepped out of my car, forgot it was on my lap, and my phone fell face down onto the ground. And this for me was like, it's one of those moments, I know that many of you have experienced it, where you're speechless. You don't want to look at it. You just know that your phone is broken. You don't want to look at it. You don't want nobody around who says anything. Everyone is just so shocked. It was really just like this silence, this moment of silence. Everyone around me, there's probably 3 or 4 people around me, and we just had a moment of silence, and I picked up my phone off the ground, and sure enough, it was completely cracked. And it was a really sad moment for me because at the time, well, really for a very long time in my life, I really didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have really the funds to go buy a new phone or fix the phone or anything like that. So it was just like a heartbreaking moment a little bit because I had no idea what I was gonna do about that phone, and it was kind of a big deal to have that phone. And it was basically shattered. I mean, it was still usable, but there was huge cracks all in it. And I had that cracked phone for over a year because I could not afford to change it. I could not afford to fix it, nothing. So I had that phone for over a year and waited until I could my 2-year contract ended and I could go back to Apple and get the same phone. It was the exact same phone, but it was a different color. I got the white phone, I believe. If I can find that photo, I'll put it up here. I went and got the same phone, but a brand new one. So I had the iPhone 4 for about 4 years because I had it for 2 years, and then I got a new one that was the same one, and I had that one for about 2 years. And then about a year and a half ago, I decided for the first time that I was actually going to start a new contract with AT&T and buy a phone outright cash. I'd never done that. I'd never had enough money to do that. was a huge deal for me. I just gotten a new job and I was like, I'm getting a new phone. I have had the same phone for 4 years and I'm gonna do it, and it's gonna be it's truly gonna be an investment. That phone was my iPhone 6. I will say the same about this phone. I loved this phone. It's a gold phone. And right now when I hold this, it seems so small to me because I have a larger phone now, but at the time this was a very large phone. It was like so beautiful to me. It just was something that meant a lot to me because it was that investment, because it meant that I had a new job that was basically my career, that was full-time, and I could actually afford to take cash out of my bank and go to AT&T and buy a phone. And it was just a really big deal for me, and it seems so silly because everything is like revolving around the phone, but honestly I think that's what it meant to me. Like the fact that it kind of, having an iPhone really progressed, it really showed the progression of my independence. And for me, like that's a big deal in my life, was trying to find my independence in life. And I think that the iPhone really tracked that part of my life. Like here's from beginning to end, you can sort of see like how my progression of independence and personal financial stability, sort of, you can see where it developed is by my iPhone, which seems so silly, but it's a big deal to me. It's a huge part of my life, to be honest, and it's a big deal to me to have my personal independence and to have my financial like stability. I mean, that's still growing and that's still developing, of course. The older I get, the more so, you know, like finding that independence and finding that financial stability. But I can see that within the things that I chose to invest in, and for me that really was Apple products, and specifically the iPhone. So this phone right here was probably like the milestone for me as far as independence, because I'll always remember this phone. And you know, I used to think I would sell this phone, and I just don't know. I don't know that I can part with it, because it's that, for me, it is that independence in my life. And when I look at it, I can sort of remember that part. Like that summer I got a new job, and I could start paying like my roommate more rent, and I could actually afford to buy myself this phone. And I remember I could actually afford to buy Christmas presents, which was a huge deal for me. And just all of those things, like, they're not necessary. I know that I don't need to be able to do all of those things. I really only did it that year because I was like, it was just such a milestone for me. It was such a big deal for me that I could do those things. And so having this phone, like, it really reminds me of those things, and I really love that about it. And so it just has meaning to me, and it really is special to me. I mean, I keep it around for other reasons, kind of, but that's really probably the main reason I have a hard time parting with it. So yeah, that was a big deal for me. And then I had it for either like a year and a half, something like that. And then I finally decided to get my iPhone 7. So let me show you my iPhone 7. So here's my iPhone 7. This right now, this truly is an investment for me. I hate that I've become this kind of person, but I have. I love Apple products, I love technology, and I love iPhones. This is Bob. If you don't know this already, I think I've said this multiple times, but all of my Apple products have Bob's Burgers character names because I love Bob's Burgers and I love Apple products. So this is Bob right here. I won't go through all my other ones, but this is the most important one. To be honest, as I thought about it earlier today, my iPhone, this iPhone, When I say investment, this is what I mean. This iPhone can do almost everything I need it to do. Other than editing videos and basically providing water, food, and shelter, this phone can basically do almost everything I need. I guess clothes too. It does not provide clothes for me, but this phone is my phone. It's the way that I text other people. It's the way that I get online. This phone is my camera. This phone is my Bible most of the time. Literally, my Bible is on here. This phone is my alarm clock. This phone is my reminders, my calendars. This phone does almost everything I need to do. Most recently, it is especially my camera so that I can create content. This phone allows me to view other content, upload other content, and share content with social media and the internet, which for me is a big deal now because I do daily video every day. And so this phone right here, this is a big deal. I own my iPhone 6. Like I said, I think it was about 1.5 to 2 years. I realized that the math is not making sense right now in your head. It's not making sense in mine either, so I'm not accurate on how long I owned each phone, but ballpark. I'm in the ballpark. And after I owned my 6 for the amount of time that I owned it, I decided that I truly was going to invest. I had paid off some of my debt that I owed, and I had truly become stable in my career. So this phone was kind of the milestone for that as well. And I decided that for myself, I was truly going to invest in this phone. And for me, it has completely paid off. I use this phone for everything. I have it with me regularly. I think there's been like 2 instances since I've had it where I didn't actually have it on my person. It is very important, and I know it's just technology. Yes, I could live without this phone, but honestly, I don't want to. Yes, I need to live in a house. Yes, I need to have clothes and a bed, and those things are important. I would rather have those things than a phone. I would rather have the people in my life, the family, my friends, all of those things. I would absolutely rather have those things than this phone. But as far as the things that I own, the assets that I have, this right here is probably the one thing. Like, you know when they ask you, like, if you had to go to a deserted island, you can only take like 3 things? This would be first on my list. Granted, it probably wouldn't have service and I'd have to find a way to charge it. But if I could do those things, my phone would be on my list because my phone provides almost everything I need. So it is a really big deal to me to have this, and I love it. It's very large. It's the iPhone 7 Plus. It's a large phone. And it's really hard for me to even consider going back to a different size. I used to think this was so ridiculously large, like who wants a phone this large? Now I can't even imagine going back to a smaller size. I love having the screen space. I love being able to type easily, see my videos clearly, play my games, and they're like gorgeous in my face. I love that about this phone, and I don't want to give this phone up. It works for me when I need it to work. I keep it updated, I keep it clean, I'm very meticulous about it, and because that's true, it works when I need it to work, and it's gonna last a long time. And especially with the new like plans through the companies and the way that Apple kind of works these days, I'll probably regularly try to keep updating my phone and constantly keep on track with Apple, and like probably want to regularly get their new products, because I think Apple is a great company. I think they're providing us with something that no one else really is. And I think they're going to continue to do that because they strive for excellence, and they want to evaluate and constantly be changing and work and moving with what's new and what's happening in the world. And they value their customers, and they pay attention to what their customers want. So this was a very long video about what I think about Apple, but honestly, it's important to me. So I just want to say happy anniversary to the iPhone. Thank you, Apple, for providing us with such an amazing product. And don't worry, you have a lifelong fan in me. I'll always be loyal to Apple before any other. And I'm looking forward to anything new that you want to throw my way, including the new iOS, the new OS, and hopefully a new phone this fall as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sorry if it felt like a rant and I was going on forever, but honestly I have a passionate love for Apple, and so not sorry, I guess. And tell me, like, leave a comment below and let me know, like, do you own an iPhone? Why do you own an iPhone? Do you not own an iPhone? Why don't you own an iPhone? What do you think about Apple products? Do you love them? Have you had issues with them? What's your story with the iPhone? Celebrate this day, and remember the iPhone, remember Apple products, because it really was a big deal, and it was a really big milestone and a really big changing point for us in technology 10 years ago. And I think that Apple is still trying to make sure that they're on the cusp of the new technology so that they can truly be a part of what our history is going to be in the future. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, to subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. Remember that I have daily vlogs on Instagram, weekly vlogs here on YouTube, and extra content just like this video here. And I'll see you guys again for another video very soon.